Hello everyone, Shroomraver here, and today I'm excited to be bringing you my Week 8 battle from Season 4, Division 2 of the Pokemon Premier League. Yes, indeed. Now, as you may know, we are up against my man Slyroh, who is filling in for Ritchie and LivWurmple FC. His link's down in the description below, make sure you check him out. Also in the description you'll find a link to my team building analysis video, if you want to see my in-depth sort of thought process going into this game, what I brought exactly and why. That link will be down there, but very briefly I have a Scarfed Zapdos, a Swords Dance, ZX Scissor Terrakion. I've got an offensive expert belt, I believe, Mamoswine. We've got an Assault Vest RhyQuinn, physically defensive Mawile, and a specially offensive, of course, Salazzle. Now, over on Slyro's side of the field, we can see he has brought Slowbro, Gliscor, Tornadus Therian, Mismagius, Tapu Bulu, and Empoleon. A few things I wasn't expecting. There's no Goodra and there's no Rotom. I genuinely, to this day, don't really know why he didn't bring either one of them, but that's his call. I was happy not to see him. And I was thinking that Zapdos was looking like it could do a huge old amount of work here. It OHKOs 4 things on his team, so that's grand. Other than that, the plan hasn't really changed all that much. We're going to see what we can do with Terrakion versus Gliscor, but now it might be, Terrakion versus Slowbro, but it might be looking like Gliscor's more of his switch-in, but we'll just have to see how we're going to do with that. My lead here is Zapdos. It has a fairly good matchup against almost everything he's got. So without further ado, let's get right into the battle and see exactly how things played out. So, here we go. Sly, in his groovy purple glasses, is going to send us the challenge. He is going to lead with Your Flow, that's the Slowbro. This is absolutely fine by me. I'm going to lead with Zapdos, so this is great. We're going to get some really early pressure on him. Now, I didn't think he would go into Gliscor this early, so I'm just going to go for the Volt Switch. I knew he was going to switch out, and he's going to go into Bellatrix, that is the Mismagius. We're going to go for the Volt Switch and get, a tasty amount of damage. That's just under half to the Mismagius, showing that it's an offensive build. I'm going to bring in a RhyQuinn. There's very little he can do to touch me, I figure, with Mismagius. And he's actually going to switch out, pretty much confirming that. Going to go into Coronado, the Bulu. As you can see after the Grassy Surge comes up, I'm going to pull a switch of my own. I'm actually going to go into the Zapdos. I thought he might go into the Empoleon there on my RhyQuinn, because there should be very little I can do to it. Either way, I'm just going to Volt Switch here out on the Tapu Bulu and just get a little bit of chip damage, and I'm going to go into Mawile to scout out his set, see exactly what he is working with. As you can see, in comes Mawile, going to get the Intimidate off. He is going to go for the Stone Edge. I'm like, this is going to do absolute dick for damage. It ends up actually just getting a crit, because why not? But it doesn't really matter. It still doesn't do a huge amount of damage. And with his own grassy terrain and my leftovers, we're going to be getting back most of what he's done to me anyway. Just a little bit lower than I would have liked to have been. So that is grand. He's going to switch out of there. He doesn't want to stay in. And he is going to go into the Gliscor. I thought he was going to go into Slowbro, so I went for Knockoff. And I'm like, yes, knock off the Toxicorp, show me the Toxicorp, and we knock off a Choice Band. And I was like, well, that's not a Toxicorp. So we've got offensive Gliscor here. Not the Toxic Soul set, which is fine by me. I'm perfectly happy not to see that thing, but a banded one means he's offensive, and that means I do want to get out there. He could be packing Fire Fang. I'm going to make the offensive play into Mamoswine. It turns out he's actually gone for Rocks. He's got Rocks on a banded set. Fair enough. He probably only needed 3 moves, so that's absolutely fine. We've got Mamoswine in here for free, and I just go for the safe Icicle Crash. If he's offensive, he might have wanted to try and hit me, but he's going to go into Empoleon here as I go for Icicle Crash. And this, I'm going to start it out now, this absolutely screams Choice Scarf Empoleon. He doesn't need a Sugar Berry, he's got the grassy terrain, he's coming expecting A, for me to go for Ice, and B, for it to outspeed me the next turn. So he's absolutely scarfed, I'm convinced of it. So I'm going to switch on out, the fact he stays in just proves it. I'm going to go into a RhyQuinn who can pretty much take any given hit from this guy, and as you can see the Skull is going to come in, and from 132 we go down to 114, so nothing at all, we're grand. Now here, I was thinking he wants to get offensive pressure by going into Bulu. He's actually going to go into the Slyroh here, which is annoying because I went for Poison Jab on the Steel type. I tried to make another big boy play, or well, a big boy play at all, which I haven't really been doing too much this season. So that was annoying. I can't catch the Bulu on the switch, but here I can just go for Leech Life and gauge exactly what kind of damage we're working with on this Slyroh, and it's looking to be a 3-hit KO from there, maybe, maybe not. As you can see though, he's actually going to go for Toxic. He's not an Assault Vest set. This is annoying because if he's got Toxic, it means he's got Slack Off, and this is just going to be painful for everyone involved. So I'm sorry that you all have to watch this. There will be no speed up here, but it's going to be a RhyQuinn versus Slyroh for a little while. And it's going to be a series of interesting plays. I actually thought he'd switch out here to get his Regenerator, as opposed to trying to slack off, so I go for a Liquidation, which is unfortunate, because as you can see, it doesn't do a huge amount, and he goes for Toxic predicting the switch. So if I'd have just gone for the Leech Life, I might have been able to take him out the next turn, or he might have been forced to switch. As you can see, Toxic is going to rack up a little bit on me, and again, as you'll be able to see from the next amount of damage from Leech Life, it is possible. If I'd just gone for it last turn, he might have gone down here, and he doesn't. He just about stays alive, and when I saw him stay alive, I'm like, oh, he's going to go for Slack Off, and he goes for Slack Off. So, yeah, Slyroh is going to sit in here and annoy me. Annoy me to hell. He's still got his leftovers. It's just not a fun time at this point for it to be a RhyQuinn on this team. So after turn effects go on, I'm going to go for another Liquidation here. At this point, it's not so much an over-prediction as I'm just trying to get a defense drop on him. That would be super nice. Now he is insisting that I'm going to have to switch out, and he goes for another Toxic, which is not going to happen, I'm afraid. But I'm insistent that I want to get a defense drop. Now as the Toxic goes down this turn, this turn, as you can see, he's going to withdraw. I was oh so close to going for Poison Jab. You have no idea how close I was to going for Poison Jab on this turn to try and snag a poison, but as it is, he goes into his Bulu. I am going to go for the Liquidation. It's going to do like a sizable chunklet, and here is where I get the defense drop. Just when I absolutely don't need it is when I get the defense drop. So that's very annoying. I would have much preferred to get that earlier on. And as you can see from the Toxic damage, it's really, really racking up on good old RhyQuinn here. So I'm just going to have to stay in. I could live another Rock Switch in, but really what would be the point when he can just sort of storm me out with his Slyroh anytime. He's going to go for the Horn Leech here with Coronado. Bulu's going to take out a RhyQuinn, so down it goes again, unfortunately not being able to do too much this game at all. But what I can do here is go into Oxide. Salazzle is going to hit the field for the first time, and he's got to switch out. He's got to. I pretty much worked out at this point that he's probably Scarfed as well as the Empoleon. He's going to go into Miss Magus here, and that is pretty much going to be a sack job. I am going to go for the Fire Blast, and that is going to take out the Miss Magus from there, so that's grand. And we're 5-5, which is nice. So yeah, I've pretty much worked out the Empoleon is Scarfed, and most likely that Tapu Bulu is Scarfed as well. And he confirms it here by going into the Empoleon, and I don't actually have a switch into Empoleon anymore. I have to let Salazzle go down, and I like to think Sly was sitting there thinking, haha, I've caught him out. No, you didn't. I knew every single time that was going to be a Scarfed Empoleon. I knew it. I did call it. I just didn't have a switch into it. So, what I can do though is go into Ibra, because I'm Scarfed as well, and this is a threat that I cannot mess with. I can't mess around with the Empoleon. He knows that. He knows I can't mess with the threat, so he's going to go into Gliscor on the Thunderbolt, and ladies and gentlemen, I messed with the threat. Hidden Power Ice on the switch. Gliscor is going to get absolutely one-shotted, and we finally make a big boy play. So that's very nice indeed. He's going to go into the Tapu Bulu once again though, knowing that he's going to be able to take a Hidden Power Ice really favourably indeed. So fair enough, I'm going to want to get out of there. I don't want to take a hit. So I'm going to go into Sadie once again. She is proving to be really useful against Tapu Bulu. It seems there's nothing he can do to hit me. Get the Intimidate off. As you can see here, he's going to go for the Wood Hammer. Now, this is a Bulu in grassy terrain, so this is going to do a bit. But it's not going to do much. It does 49 points of damage. Remember, again, I have the grassy terrain that he's given me. I have the leftovers. this is not going to be doing much. Not going to be doing much at all. So, at this point, as I say, leftovers come back. I've pretty much, as I say, assumed that this is his second Scarfer, as I predicted in the team building video, by the way. But he's going to get out of there. He's going to go into your flow once again. It's the Slowbro. Now, I do go for a knockoff on this turn, but I'm uninvested. He's a Slowbro. I do get rid of the leftovers, which is nice. But, really, I'm not doing much damage to him. And at this point, let's say I have Morwhile, I have the Zapdos who's super important, and I have my 2 physical threats which are both weak to water. At this point I don't have a switch in to the Scald which I know is coming my way. So I make a bit of a calculated risk. I go into Terrakion. I know I can take a Scald, I just need to take it and not get burnt, and then I can try and do some damage with the ZXs. So he's going to go for the Scald. As you can see, I do take it pretty well, and of course he gets the burn, because just of course he does. And I was annoyed at that. It was a calculated risk. I figured I needed to try and get it in under the pretense of trying to sack it and not get burned, and then try and take him out with this incoming Savage Spin Out. I figured I might need Mamoswine later on for the Ice Shards on the Bulu. Simply because rocks were up, I had no way of dealing with them, and Zapdos would be worn down by constantly switching in and out. So I went into the Terrakion. I'm going to go for that Savage Spin Out, and it's going to have that sort of Hulk Loki moment, smashing him around, and as you can see, this is going to do dick. And it's really annoying because he's just going to go for Slack Off, and I was like, ah, oh, Sly, I hate you. I do, deep within my soul. I don't, but I also do. So that was annoying. If I'd gone for Swords Dance, it would have been, as I believe the kids say, pretty lit. But I didn't. So that's all for naught. He's basically back to full health. And here, I'm just going to try and play the Hats game myself. I'm going to go for Stone Edge. It's a high crit ratio move. Do I get it? Of course I don't. Of course I don't. It would have maybe done like 20 damage instead of 12. He's going to take me out with the Scald, and that, as they say, is that for Terrakion, who once again has failed me. And Slowbro is still goddamn there. Now, what it does mean is that once again I do get to go into Ibra, and at this point I just click Thunderbolt. I just click it, and I'm pretty sure like the sack player's coming, it's gonna be the Taunty, he doesn't need it. And as you can see, in comes Taunty for the first time, gonna hit the field, and I'm going to go for the Thunderbolt. And Tornadus T is going to abruptly leave the field. So thanks for playing Taunty, it was nice of you to show up, but he goes away. Well, of course what that means is that he can go into his Bulu, and here we're going to pause it. Here we're going to pause it because big play's coming up. Grassy Surge comes up. Grass comes to the battlefield, and we're going to pause. At this point, 3 on 3. I have Zapdos, who can't take too many more switch-ins to rocks. Got Morwhile, who switches into this Bulu all day, every day. And I have a Mamoswine at full health. On Sly's side, he has the Empoleon, he has the Slowbro, and he's got the Bulu. Now, every single time he's gone into Bulu, I've gone into Morwhile. It completely hard walls it, and it genuinely does. His final moveset was Hornleech, Wood Hammer, Stone Edge, and Mega Horn. He can't touch Morwhile in the slightest. So that's my guaranteed switch in. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this turn took us both the full 90 seconds that it takes to choose a move on Wi-Fi. Because we were both thinking about exactly the same possibility. If I switch out and he goes for a Mega Horn or a Stone Edge or whatever, fine. We deal with that. If I stay in and he stays in, he's going to kill me. But why would I stay in? Because it's very possible that he might pull the double into the Empoleon, knowing that my switch in is Morwhile. Now I have shown that I'm not afraid to mess with threats with Zapdos, but we both also know that Zapdos is my only way of dealing with Slowbro. If Zapdos goes down here, I lose. So it just depends on whether I have enough in me to make another big boy play with Zapdos. So let's see if it happens. I am going to switch out. I couldn't do it. Zapdos was too important to me. I need it for the Slowbro. So I'm going to go into Sadie once again. The consummate answer, the counter, no less, to Tapu Bulu. And he's gonna pull the double, and I was like, ah, damn. Because, yeah, in comes Empoleon. And that is pretty much that. Now here, here I make another very, 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 very stupid play. It wasn't even so much a play as just something I did that was stupid, or rather something that I didn't do. I stay in, knowing I can take a Scald. What I should have done was gone into Mamoswine to sack it, because it's basically useless. I get up rocks, they don't do anything. Do you want to know why I didn't go into Mamoswine? Because, ladies and gentlemen, I very genuinely forgot that I had it. I don't know why. I assumed it was 3-on-2. I don't know why. I just completely spaced on the fact I still had Mamoswine in the back. So unfortunately, Sadie here is going to go down to the Scald. She's put in a fantastic shift, just basically stopping Tapu Bulu completely. But now, unfortunately, that is over. And as you can see, I am going to go into Ibra. I have one more switch-in left in me after this. I do just click Thunderbolt here. Like, Sly's going to let Empoleon go down. It's done its job at this point. He doesn't need it anymore. So that's fine. Zapdos picks up its 3rd kill, which I guess on a personal note is quite nice. Taking it to 5 for the season. But now in comes the Bulu. And, yeah. It's not going to play out too well for me because I need Zapdos. I have to have it. It has one more switch in. It needs to use that switch in to try and damage the gosh darned Slowbro. But at this point he's going to go for Horn Leech. I was kind of praying he'd go for Wood Hammer and get residual damage on himself and recall, but as you can see it's just so not going to happen. He is going to get right the hell on back up to full. What I should have done was sack Mamo previously so I could still bring in more Wild to this guy one more time and try and see what I could do from there. But as it is, it's Zapdos versus the world. I am going to go into Zapdos. It's going to go down to just the 1 hit point, and basically I need 4 crit powerful Paras here. And as you can see, the game is not even going to give me any one of those things because I don't get lucky. He's going to go for the Horn Leech. That is, of course, going to take out my 1 HP Zapdos. He's going to get that 1 HP back for himself. Ibra goes down after putting up a good fight, and that is going to be the game. Yeah, that was an unfortunate one. It was actually a really good game though. I'm sure you'll agree there were some pretty nice plays on both sides. You know, we had the big boy play with Zapdos early on. We had the one I just couldn't quite do in the late game. If I'd have stayed in there, would it have been different? Maybe. It might have been. You never know. But, yeah, all credit to Sly, played a good game. I should say, by the way, before we end this off, I'm sorry this is late. I know it is. It was supposed to go up on Wednesday. I didn't get the recording until Wednesday due to a bit of a sort of mix-up and clerical error going on in the Discord chat. I didn't get it till late on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, I had to do Theme Thursdays, which I nearly forgot to do as well. So this is going up on Friday. I'm very sorry about that. I realise. Won't happen again, promise. But I think out of like sort of 95 PPL videos over my entire course of being in it, I think this might be like the 2nd one that's late. So you'll let me off, right? Good stuff. Yes, we do take a loss, unfortunately. That puts us to 2-6, meaning we cannot finish the season with a positive differential ratio kill wins to loss things, which is unfortunate. We'd already given up on promotion. That was never going to happen, so we'll just focus on that next season. We've got 3 more games to go. Next one is going to be against my man Potato Jim and the Pinecobh Ramblers. That's a fun one that I'm really looking forward to. As to this one, as I say, a well-played game by Slyroh. Pretty much no hacks in it. At least there were like little bits here and there, but none of them mattered, so we'll be okay with it. Do make sure you check out his links down in the description below. He is a great content creator, another long-time rival of mine. And yeah, he's just been a mainstay of the PPL. We've had great battles pretty much every time. It's nice to have a battle against Sly that didn't come down to hacks, as has 3 of our last 4 battles, so that's, you know, nice on a personal note. But yeah, I'm going to get out of here. I've rambled on for a bit too long as ever, and my throat is hurting a little bit, so I'm going to get out of here. Thank you all very much for watching. I do hope that you've enjoyed. Remember to check out Slyroh for the final time down in the description, and I'm going to get out of here. So, yeah, final thanks to you all for watching, and I guess with that, I'll see you next time. Laters.